Hi, everybody. By this time, I hope that you watched the last slide of the resume. It says interview tips on it. And there's a bunch of links on there for tips on interviewing, and Studio Cs are on there joking about references and someone who's just, sleeping during the interview and things like that. So if you didn't watch it now because this will help you with these questions. Now, interviewing takes practice. It's really that simple. You don't know what questions they're going to ask, but these are the most basic questions that they ask. They may not ask them all, or they may have ones on here that are ones that are not on here. I'm just going to tell you about the basic ones. So this first question right here is an icebreaker question because they know you're nervous. So just tell them maybe how many brothers and sisters you have or any interests you have. But I wouldn't get into, I play video games or, things like that. Something that you like to do and a little bit about your family would probably be the best thing. Strengths, well, that's an easy question because on your resume, you put what skills you have. So if you're bilingual, you can say that. Or if you're really good at numbers, you can say that. If you're a great writer, if you're in honors classes, that means you're strong in one of those subjects. This is the one where it's difficult and they try to get you. And a lot of students have taken my advice on this one. They want you to say something negative. But yes, say something negative, but you can turn it into a positive. So if you look at that last slide with the resume interview and tips on it, it has a what are you weaknesses question and how to answer it. So for example, you can say, well, I am usually late to things, but now I set my alarm earlier, so I'm not late anymore. So see how it turns a negative into a positive because it shows that you're trying to improve what that is. Now this one, are you willing to work overtime nights and weekends? It's just like that short notice question on the application. You say yes, no matter what. Because if you say no, then that means you're not flexible. They may ask you this: how do you deal with difficult people? They want to see if you can handle it on your own. And it really depends. If you are working with someone who's difficult, the best thing to do is talk to the person yourself and see if that doesn't solve the problem. Then it's okay to say, well, I talked to them, but it's still not solved. So then I would go to my boss. So that would be like me at school, and every time a student talked or got out of their seat or did something they shouldn't, if they don't want to hear in an interview for a teacher, oh, well, I tell them to leave the room, I send them to the office. They want to know that I handle the situations myself. Now, if you've talked to some of your friends that have had me before, I guarantee you that I have not sent students out that much. When I sent them out, it was really something serious like a fight or something like that. So that is a question that they may ask you because they want to know if you can work with other people if you do retail or customer service. How do you handle stress? They do not want you to say, I punch a wall, because that is a bad thing to say. And I've heard students say that before when we were practicing it in class. So, how do you handle stress? Because there's a lot of stress going on right now. Do you listen to music? Do you read? Do you take a walk? Do you exercise? Those are the types of answers that they're looking for. Now, if you can't answer a question because you're not sure when they ask you, it's okay to say, can we go back to that question so you have time to think about it? But like I said, this takes practice. What I suggest you do is you practice with an adult with this so you know how to answer the questions. And you should also Google questions. All I did with this is I Googled interview questions and these came up. and they'll tell you some tips on how to answer common interview questions. Now, look, there are a lot of them here. So it's just to give you an idea. But when you're getting a job for the first time, it they may not ask you a lot of questions, but you're going to need to know this for college, and beyond. So when I taught high school, a lot of students said, "Hey, you help me with the questions." They asked me the weakness question, and I thought that was great. Now this one, I've been asked this before. Why should we hire you? That one, they want you to sell yourself. They want you to tell them why you're a good person for this job, and then you go back and tell them your strengths, and you tell them, what you're good at, and do some research on the place that you're going to be working at, and maybe say something about, oh, I shop here all the time, or, and I'm familiar with the clothes, or something like that. And that would be absolutely fine. Now, if you give your resume as an eighth or ninth grader, they're probably going to look at you like you're crazy, but I still suggest you do it anyway, because they'll be very impressed and think that you're very well prepared. So that is pretty much this. Do you have to send this in to me? No, you don't have to hand this in. I just wanted to talk to you about these things. I want you to work on the job application, the resume, and listen to that last slide in the interview tips. And that should be good enough. And if you have any questions, of course, you can email me anytime. Okay? See you later.